Well, something bizarre is happening in Nevada over at Area 52. That was the name kind of given to the area, but Area 52 is often used to test weapons and all kinds of things. It was highly used during the Cold War. Well, now something rather bizarre is happening in and around that area. Take a look at what I'm talking about here, and this is on the dailymail.co.uk. U.S. nuclear weapons testing facility rattled by more than 100 mysterious earthquakes. At least 127 earthquakes have been recorded in a highly restricted region of central Nevada that contains several major U.S. military and nuclear-related facilities. The seismic activity began on Saturday with the latest tremor detected on Wednesday. The quakes range from magnitude 4.2 down to about 1.4, striking in the vicinity of Tonopah Test Range, sometimes referred to as Area 52. I'm curious if any of you have heard of that. I'm sure most of you have because you guys have followed my channel. But anyway, the remote military range near the town of Tonopah is not primarily used for nuclear detonations, but it has long been linked to U.S. nuclear weapons programs. The site is used to test how nuclear weapons would be delivered, including experiments where aircraft drop non-nuclear versions of bombs to study their performance. Ergo, it's not necessarily a place you want to live in and around, especially with all the radioactivity. It has also been used for missile and aircraft testing, and during the Cold War, hosted experiments in which mock nuclear bombs were dropped to simulate real weapon deployments. The earthquake swarm is also outside of the Nevada National Security Site, which is currently active in the nation's nuclear program. Scientists say the large number of earthquakes near Tonopah is most likely linked to the region's national geography. Right, so something in the geography, you can see here the map, blanking, with all the quakes that have kind of been going on in and around the area. Now, while the latest tremors occurred near several military installations, experts say the earthquakes are most likely the result of natural tectonic movement rather than human activity. However, this region of Nevada also has a long history of being used for testing America's weapons of mass destruction, which can also cause the same types of seismic tremors being experienced over the last week. I wonder if they're doing stuff on that ground that we're just not aware of. Just a thought. Area 52 is a highly classified U.S. military installation operated by the Department of Energy and the Department of War. It's primarily been used for nuclear weapons stockpile maintenance, testing delivery systems, fueling and firing research, and related classified activities. So intriguing to say the least, because of the highly, we'll call it volatile nature of the area. Now we've got all these earthquakes, which do happen, by the way, when they're doing all these tests, but now we have a little bit more activity going on in the area. Now, as a quick reminder, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel here. YouTube loves to unsubscribe people, so please double check it for me. And please share this video with everyone you know. You guys are the force out there. You're the way that the news is getting out. So thank you guys in advance for sharing this video and liking it. And even so, I want to encourage you guys to check out my second channel, Lisa Report. I put brand new videos up on there as well. So please get on over to Lisa Report and check it out and subscribe to that channel today. You guys will not be disappointed. But with that, we're on the nuclear kind of talking vein. As you know, we're in tensions with Iran. There's been a lot of experts and people come out and say, you know, things could get crazy. They could shoot missiles or nukes, even though they're not supposed to have any. Whether or not they do is debatable, but either way, I've got a chilling list that I want to show you in addition to this that reveals which U.S. cities could be a target for, say, World War III. If we do, say, end up expanding the war, and I'm going to call it a war because that's what I think is going on with Iran. If it expands and starts to include real nuclear powers that we know are nuclear, like Russia and China, well, things could go nuclear, and God forbid. So here's this list. Thought it was just while I'm on the topic, right? Daily Mail. Chilling list reveals which U.S. cities would be targeted first in World War III. Military analysts have warned that if fighting expands and draws in Iran's allies, Russia and China, we could risk a catastrophic global war, right? And then it goes on to say, well, New York and Washington are obviously among those that could be targeted. There's also lesser known areas that could be targeted. And it goes on to list some of those from Shreveport, Louisiana to Ogden, Utah. A network of remote facilities tied to U.S. defense infrastructure could also be key targets for a nuclear kind of exchange, because obviously this is something that, they're going to go after our infrastructure, right? But here are the cities that they quote: Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm not going to get into all the details. Shreveport, Louisiana, Ogden, Utah, Cleverfield, Utah. And then we also have Cheyenne, Wyoming, Great Falls, Montana, Colorado Springs, Colorado, Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, specifically Albuquerque, New Mexico, Houston, Texas, Seattle, Washington, LA, there in California, San Francisco, Chicago, Illinois, Washington, D.C., and New York City. Those are the top 15 places that could potentially be a target based off of infrastructure, based off of any and all of that. So obviously, if anything like that happens, we're looking at a whole lot of damage to the U.S. But what if something like that did happen? Well, the Daily Mail also did kind of a little bit on that. Interesting. Daily Mail: nuclear death map of America reveals how fast citizens in each state would die. Yay. A rare and safe zone if some kind of atom bomb was dropped on U.S. silos, right? And it really depends. I think this is a hard thing because it really depends on the wind, the weather, where it drops, the whole 9 yards. But anyway, enlighten me, right? Scientists at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst modeled a worst-case attack on the 450 intercontinental ballistic missile silos clustered across the Midwest. So basically, they're attacking our silos, right? Which is considered prime targets because disabling them early could cripple our nuclear arsenal. So basically, they went out and drew that up, and then they made this map, right? And this is the map. So you could see the nuclear arsenals or the silos, not the arsenals, the silos that they attacked, and you could see that big shift. So the ones in I think the red, the purple, those are immediate death zones, and then death after so long being the orange. And then the yellow, we've got some survival or more of the safe zone. So that kind of gives you an overall idea of something like that were to occur. And here's their annual limit for the ones in yellow. And then you've got the death from basically everything red and up. So there's that. Yay. Death and destruction. Who knows? I don't know. All I know is I pray to God that things don't get worse with this war. But anyhow, wanted to bring all of that to you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hope to see you over on Restricted Republic. And thank you guys for who is there. I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.